Well, hello there. This is that one generic guy, Grinder here, and today I'm going to be playing more War Thunder. Uh, and I'm gonna be trying to do as much of the air vent as I can, and I'm going to try to be fast and grinding points because yes. So we'll leave. Actually, 1 second. I need to see how much it would cost for GE. So 10,000 is about $60. Got it. Okay, so I have by tomorrow to get market distinction 4. I can go with Aloha, Senel. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and
That's good.
indeed, that is good.
How have you been?
Yeah, fairly well.
That's good.
Oh, what you playing today?
War Thunder because there is an event vehicle.
Fantastic! It's gonna watch you blow people up.
Well, thank you for coming by. Is there anything you'd like to talk about while I brainlessly bang my head against a wall, or trying to kill people over and over again for almost what feels like no reason?
Almost feels like no reason.
Well, the reason why I say that is because I'm probably gonna die 2 of every 3 games without getting a single kill.
Sounds about accurate. I've been in a Star Wars and Harry Potter mood, so I guess I could talk about something.
Oh, cool. So what is something that you want to talk about for Harry Potter, let's say?
No idea.
Hmm.
Twitch. Go ad free for free. Too fucking bad. Bastards.
Hmm.
Alright. And then go here. I don't know who the Shiro Hoshi is. I don't think I've ever seen any of their skits. I don't know why it does that for me. I mean, I've been listening to the new audiobook. The Livecast audiobook of Harry Potter. And trying to catch up on the 4th book.
Okay.
Because the 5th one's coming out March 8th.
Ah.
Indeed.
Okay, good. I managed to avoid that little. Okay, got another one fired on me. Lovely.
You started a bit early today.
Yeah, just a couple minutes.
My alarm just went off. Yes, I have an alarm for whenever you start your streams.
Huh. Okay. Sorry about the weird vibrations. Apparently, a It's one of those alerts that happened. It's been dealt with, luckily.
Alert.
One of those phone alerts.
Oh, my phone.
No, it was mine.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
If it was going through your stream, I wouldn't have heard it anyway because I always mute your streams because I'm talking to you through Discord.
Understandable.
No point in carrying an echo.
Yeah, that would get real annoying real quick.
I might send your stream to one of my to one of my groups.
Well, that'd be very nice. Thank you.
Sometimes people need to see some stuff like that. Plus, I don't know if anybody wants to.
Well, that was dumb of me. Trying to weave between buildings in a jet going at Mach speed is not a very bright idea. Okie need to gain a little height. Yep, the USMC Saber. Man, second gen jets were interesting.
I will take your word for it, my friend.
Well, you see, let's see. Do you know what a like a turbine jet is?
Kind of.
Okay, so do you know modern planes that are usually used that people fly from across the states, right?
Yeah, turbine engine jets. Yeah, I know.
Yep. So that's kind of what Gen 2 jets are, and some early Gen 3s. But Gen 3 is basically they changed from a turbine to either ramjets or afterburner jets.
Fair enough.
Okay, got a kill. That's good. Tis a vamp. And those flight ergonomics must be like crap now. Well, I'll take an assist. Thank you.
When everybody dies. I'm the man in black.
Of course. The guy who shot me decided that killing himself would be easier than actually doing anything.
I love how you're just continuously flying with a burning engine.
That I have no tail control, so I can't move, go up or down.
I like how you're just accepting fate, like, alright, let's do this! Ah!
Yep. Now let's see if I don't be stupid this time and try to weave between buildings at Mach speeds. I mean, can you imagine the devastation of hitting a building at faster than the speed of sound?
That'll be fun. Yeah, the rough part about those jets is that the fucking G-force can really get you.
Yep, because I think a lot of modern jets can hit all the way up to 15 Gs if you pull max.
Yeah, that would be real scary to just black out in the middle of going that fast.
Indeed.
I can never do it.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, one of the guys that has been kind of hitting up my streams recently He's in one of the air forces in like Middle or Eastern Europe,
Oh,
and he actually flies the F-16. And
that's awesome.
yeah, it is.
I bet he appreciates somebody who at least knows their stuff.
I know very little about jets comparatively to tanks and guns.
I bet he at least is appreciative that somebody knows their stuff about certain things, you know.
Yeah. I'll definitely say this though, is that he was able to, without giving anything away, he basically said that a lot of the stuff for the vehicle that he flies is not accurate to real life in this game. But I will also say that this game is, while it is meant to be closer to a sim, it is not truly a sim type game. It is a game.
Yeah, I figured that most of the stuff, specifically the planes, would be a little bit more taking with creative liberties.
Yes, because a lot of plane stuff is like still turbo illegal to have.
Hey, is that dude in the Discord yet? Or
No, and I also not sure if he really wishes or cares to try to join it.
that's fair. So he just pops in from time to time. Does he pop in on your Twitch or YouTube?
Twitch.
Twitch? We'll keep an eye out then. Control C and Control V. Copy and paste.
I love hitting a freaking tree.
Copy and paste.
Kidoki, let's hope this goes well.
Is that a snub nose?
I attack with the F-86.
Yeah.
It's that's the land-based saber. I'm in the carrier-based saber. So mine's a lot of jets that are made for the aircraft carriers are similar but not identical to their land-based variants. Although they the ones that are on aircraft carriers can land on ground normal ground stuff ones. The normal ground ones are not made for carriers because they have slight differences in how they work basically. Because carriers are already able to go across the world with little to no problems, so they're built more for certain area around the aircraft carriers, so that they don't go too far. Now, while they can still have extended range capabilities, the normal based variants Oh, another thing is that they have to change the ones that go in aircraft carriers to be able to have super quick stops. Because of the arresting cable that they use to help prevent the jet from falling into the ocean after landing.
Be the platypus.
Okay, got one. Mark one bogey.
God! It's a fish!
Well, that guy is donezo. Time for me to go back to base. Yep, with as many holes as is in this is causing it way to slow down. Probably doesn't help that my engine's damaged too. Well, we won. I'll take it.
Meowdy burgers.
Uh-huh. Hmm. Christopher Bum. Thank you for subscribing. Actually, you know what? I'm already on the left-hand side.
Everybody die. Everybody die. Everybody die.
Ah. Yes, forgot how nasty in-game chat can be.
Indeed. Got to have some fun spit spats.
Well, I mean...
Nasty ass fuck.
Yeah. Ugh. I love how it becomes a 6-on-1 battle.
Yep, that sounds about right, my friend. I'm an eepy squirrel.
What the heck did I get?
Everything.
Probably a million SL, sadly. Yes, I thought so.
'Cause everything is awesome.
30. 40. And 50. Come on. Okay, hopefully I have a little better time this time compared to getting into a 6-on-1.
Guten Morgen, guten Morgen. It's great to stay up late. Guten Morgen, guten Morgen. Back in the day, back in the day. When the backrooms were a thing, jiggle, once it to work, Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
Critical speed. Air. 12 o'clock. High. Air. Air. 12 o'clock. High. Air. 12 o'clock. High. Air. 12 o'clock. High. Air. Air. 12 o'clock. High.
Hmm.
Air. 12 o'clock. High. Air. 12 o'clock. High. Pull up. Pull up. Air. 12 o'clock. High. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Air. 12 o'clock. Low. Pull up. Pull up. Lock. Lock. Over G. Over G. Pull up. Over G. Pull up. Over G. Pull up. Pull up. Air. 3 o'clock. High. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Lock. Pull up. Lock. Pull up. Over G. Over G. Lock. Critical speed. Critical speed.
My radar just never picked him up, even though he's right in front of me. What?
Warning. Pull up.
Invisible tree, lovely.
And they all died the end.
Yep. Tis the ugly barnacle.
Yep.
It's gonna take a hot second to get some height. Of course. And, well, I mean, he smashed himself into me, so I'll take it.
Oh, sure, sure. Bugger. Just not where they went for the other roads. This is the stupid I had some fun on Facebook today.
Oh, and what did you do?
Um, there was a post questioning about orange sky crystals and if they are natural or not. And my comment ended up making some people tell me what I already knew, which most of the knowledge that we know of orange kyber crystals, specifically choline crystals, are of Legends material, which I'm fully aware. But then they also had the nerve to bring up the fact that the Jedi Survivor and the Jedi Fallen Order games, the main character Cal Kestis has the chance of getting an orange kyber crystal. Technically, that is a game mechanic, not something that is standardly accepted as natural kyber crystal. And it's usually stuck behind the paywall of, the premium content.
Yep.
Which is, I guess, okay. But on Wikipedia, it's saying that the Coleman crystal is canon, but every other source is legend, which is strange to me, because I'm pretty sure Coleman crystals are legends specifically. Disney really changed it around, because initially kyber crystals were already pre-colored. You just had to, once you got the kyber crystal, it was already colored the way it was. Now in Disney's kyber crystals, they change color depending on your connection to the Force, and they could change dramatically. So like, they could be green when you first start off as a Padawan, but shift over to blue, later on in life, and the Force is different. But I don't believe that's how it works. Because canonically, we actually have Ki-Adi-Mundi, who has 2 kyber crystals in his lightsaber, 1 blue and 1 green, and he can switch between them whenever he wants, even though they give him no benefit. Anyway, and the only reason why he has that is because in Clone Wars movie, or Attack of the Clones, we saw him with a green lightsaber in one scene and then a blue lightsaber in the next. And eventually, George Lucas was like, yeah, so he wanted to make an explanation for it. So he said that he had 2 crystals in his lightsaber. And it's canon too, so.
Because they could just do whatever the crap they want, even if it makes no sense.
Actually, it does kind of make sense. So lightsabers, like light whips, for example, are actually a bunch of mini crystals that are aligned in a certain way to make the lightsaber come out, but in a way that's flexible, because they have a rigid matrix that usually keeps it straight. And then you have double-bladed lightsabers, which usually have 1 or 2 crystals within the hilt as a way to channel both crystals out the end of the hilt. And there are some cases where there's one case, I think, that a Jedi actually had green they had a double-bladed lightsaber, but they could only activate one end at a time. And they had one color for one end and the other color on the other end. As it confuses their enemies. Although changing their color mid-battle isn't exact, unless the crystals are unique, have unique properties, it won't benefit you other than making yourself aura farm.
Indeed.
And honestly, with Ki-Adi-Mundi, he's had a couple different colors before. When he was a Padawan, he had a purple lightsaber. And then when he turned to a knight, and then he changed it out for blue. It's not entirely impossible that he had a second crystal that was green, as a lot of Jedi, like Plo Koon, for example, had a lot of different colored lightsabers throughout his time. Plo Koon had orange, yellow, he had blue, even Mace Windu started off with a blue lightsaber, and then he collected his purple one later on, purple crystal later on.
Okay.
It's not entirely unheard of, but if the crystals don't give you any type of benefit, it's you won't be seeing a lot of Jedi just put two random standard kyber crystals in their hill and have it so they can switch the color.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be kind of complicated to have multiple kyber crystals in a single lightsaber anyway.
I mean, there are focusing crystals such as the Crate Pearl, the Crate Dragon Pearl, and certain creatures will be able to give you certain focusing crystals, or and they do help with the lightsaber blade. But most, I mean, it's somewhat helpful. Like example, let's say you have a Dantari crystal and a secret crystal in your hill. Like if you have a Dantari which recycles the force energy around you, and brings it back into you, and so you can reuse it and fight for a longer period of times. And then if you need to, you could switch it over to the secret crystal, which will enhance your perception of the world around you. So
Okay.
it will enhance your precognition and your perception. But like most often than not, a lot of these crystals were part of the games, such as Star Wars: The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, stuff like that. Like even uh, even Force Unleashed. There were some crystals that came out of Force Unleashed. Um, and a lot of people don't see these as actual crystals, same way as people don't see that the classes Guardian, Sentinel, and Consular as actual, you know, actual core open work because they were part of the games. But honestly, if you bring all the lore from everything, the games, the books, the shows, the movies, it paints a bigger picture than just basic stuff.
Yeah. I do like the fact that the games and some of the stuff does add stuff, but some of the stuff that Disney added it just feels like someone threw paint at the wall and hoped that came up with a plan.
I mean, I didn't mind most of the stuff that Disney did. Like bleeding of kyber crystals was definitely a unique choice, and it did paint the way for a explanation of how white kyber crystals were made, or or lightsabers were made. Like initially, red lightsabers were synthetic. In fact, Luke himself created a synthetic green lightsaber crystal uh, for his second lightsaber and his uh, first lightsaber he created himself. And even though there was a lot of theories initially that he got Qui Gon's old lightsaber crystal, or um, out of universe explanation why his lightsaber is green to begin with, because the blue uh, kept on merging with the sky on set, so it wasn't noticeable at all. So they
Okay.
wanted a different color to use for it, so they could see the lightsaber
Yeah.
color. But in universe, it's been officially confirmed that he did it synthetically, which was something that Jedi didn't do. Um, but since he grew up in an era where Jedi were considered, you know, pretty much extinct, it didn't matter how he got his crystal, just that he had.
And I'm brain farting. How was it that someone could synthetically make a kyber crystal?
So synthetic lightsaber crystals are usually made in a forge of some sort. Um, Darth Maul is a great example. We actually saw, um, I think in one of the comics, him actually making a synthetic crystal. And funny enough, with Darth Maul's case, is that he actually had the necessary tools to do it properly, because he was Padawan, or he was apprentice to Darth Sidious, and Darth Sidious would have had the necessary equipment and necessary tools to help him forge it. And basically, it's forged through usage of the Force, and it's kind of like a mix between um, Force alchemy, as they're forcing a crystal to become into being.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact science behind it, as we're not actually given actual science behind it, but it's basically just making a crystal with certain materials and the Force. And the Jedi saw it as a barbaric way to do it because they're more for pro-life type stuff, where they used real crystals, real kyber crystals. But then in like legend, but then in canon, which is Disney, they switched it. They made red lightsabers bled or bleed, and which basically pour all your hate, anger, you know, pain, and all that into the crystal, and bleed it because they believed, because both Jedi and Sith believed that since the Force resides in all living things, and the crystals were technically living, that
Like,
they themselves could bleed.
yep. It's sort of like concentrated metachlorians a bit, right?
Because midichlorians were in every living thing. They bound every living thing, even not Force sensitives. But like with the crystals, you could take any Jedi crystal and bleed it in a sense, and that's what most Sith did. In fact, there was only a couple that didn't bleed their own crystals. That came from Jedi to Sith, and one of them was actually Anakin. He had to bleed another. I think it was Ram Koda's lightsaber. No, it wasn't Ram Koda. Who was it? I forgot which Jedi he killed to bleed the crystal for, but he had to go without a lightsaber. Actually, no, he used Sidious's lightsaber, although he detested it. Because Sidious's lightsabers are meant to piss off the Jedi. They're meant to spit in the face of them. Because they're made with electrum as their main component. Electrum is a very valuable material, lightsaber material, that was only really used by Jedi that were gifted a seat at the Jedi High Council. And Mace Windu is one that predominantly actually had electrum on his lightsaber, which is the gold part on his lightsaber. Hill. But Vader hated how smooth and how elegant it was. It wasn't meant for actual combat. So with red lightsaber crystals, they had to bleed it, and then when we found out about white lightsaber crystals, we finally got an answer about how they're created, and it's through purification, kind of like healing the kyber crystal. Unfortunately, that erases the original color. There are some cases where purification will bring the original color back. So like if it was blue initially, then bled red, it might turn back to blue. But most cases it just turns white. And the only case that we ever see somebody with a white lightsaber is, of course, Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've really gotten into some of this stuff. So yeah, there's definitely some things I don't know, and then some things I've forgotten.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that just got changed, that keep on changing and shit too. So it's not like everything's like, it's constantly changing. It's constantly being added to. It's even hard for me to keep up, and that's mainly due to the fact that I focus on certain aspects of Star Wars lore. I know a little bit about the ships. I know a little bit about military stuff, but I like the more Jedi, Sith, Force sensitive stuff, along with some species and planets.
Well,
And that's how it is in Star Wars. You kind of have to pick your specialty and go deep dive into those specific things.
all I'm gonna say is that normally when people make lore for their universe, and I mean when other people start modifying the crap out of it, that's that have okay. I don't think retconning should be something. The only time I think that it should be okay to change something is if it can basically, you know, be changed versus something that has been stated to be something and then is just all of a sudden, oh, actually, no. It's actually this. Retconning, I just don't like versus adding something on that can change people's understanding of it. Like,
And that's one of the main issues with Star Wars is that it got retconned to the point of where only a few things were kept from Legends, and um, stuff like lightsaber crystals and even Mandalorian lore got changed a little bit too. Um, Darksaber was always in Mandalorian, if I remember correctly, Mandalorian lore, but they took out some of the lore. See, there's a lot of characters in Star Wars Legends that are way too overpowered, and Disney, if they ever brought them into the universe, they would never actively put them in like a show or something, because of how powerful they are. If they did, they would have to, because Disney likes to dumb down stuff, they would have to nerf the fuck out of them. Because somebody like Abeloth, who only could destroy, or um, like some of the old Legend Sith, like Nihilus, Scion, Traya. There's a lot of Sith that and Jedi that would have been way too powerful for Disney canon, and like um, especially with how they're dealing with lightsabers. Nowadays, lightsabers, depending on the show you watch, don't mean anything. They stab somebody, it doesn't kill them immediately, it just mildly hinders them,
yep.
which stupid.
Or every single person, or like there's 17 of every color, even though some should be way more rare or whatever.
Well, see, in Acolyte, it made sense because during the High Republic, um, there was a fair amount of people with different colored lightsabers, like purple and yellow. Specifically, blue, yellow, and green were more common during the High Republic. There were some pink lightsabers and some orange ones and some purple ones, but most often than not, after the High Republic and during, and then after High Republic fell off, and then the fall of the Republic is the era that takes place after that, which goes from that point of the end of the High Republic to the end of the Clone Wars, which is like 100-year gap, kind of. The lightsaber colors started to slowly turn to more green and blue because there wasn't a lot of Jedi that were needed for the Sentinel class or Sentinel School of Thought, which was the Jedi Shadows, the investigators and stuff like that, because they weren't their own people anymore. They were being controlled by um, the Senate. So they didn't need those people to do a lot of that stuff. They relied on local policing for that, which was stupid. But yeah, no, like old Republic and High Republic, there was a lot of different colored lightsabers initially. In fact, uh, during and after the High Republic and during leading up to the Phantom Menace, there was some Jedi that actually wielded red lightsabers. Um, Not because they were dark side in nature, but because there was no reason for them not to. There was no Sith that was known to be around at the time, so it was like, oh well. I mean, there's no reason why we can't wield these. Like Adigalia, for example, wielded one. But as soon as the Clone Wars started, everybody that had a red lightsaber got rid of it because they didn't want to be confused on the battlefield.
Not to mention the possibility of being seen as not part of their allegiance.
Yeah, exactly. Getting confused on the battlefield with a red lightsaber, saying, "No, I'm not on their side. I'm on your side. I just like using the red lightsaber." Yeah, after Phantom Menace, after Maul was discovered, a lot of Jedi stole away their red lightsabers, realizing that the Sith were still around. And if they didn't want to be confused for such things, they had to cast away. I'm pretty sure some of them still kept the lightsaber held and the crystal within it, but they just never actively used it like they used to. It's also another reason why even during the Clone Wars, a lot of people knew about the Jedi, but not so much about the Sith. Were confused whenever somebody like Maul and Savaz or Press would take out their lightsabers and assume, and even Hondo Onaka, who had a pirate crew back then, thought that Count Dooku even actually no, he knew who Count Dooku was, but he didn't know who Darth Maul was, as he assumed that he was some sort of rogue Jedi. It shows how good the Jedi were at wiping out anything Sith related, that people forgot that Sith existed at one point.
That's actually pretty funny.
like they were so determined to wipe out the Sith existence that most people had no. It was kind of like how when the Empire started, and how the Empire was so good at wiping out Jedi existence that by the time of Luke's rise of becoming a Jedi, a lot of people didn't know, or were just told stories about the Jedi, and the Jedi were considered a myth. Like same thing with the Sith during the Republic era. Most people assumed the Sith were some sort of myth, something you scare the younglings with. The Sith will come out and corrupt you. You know, they hear about the dark side all the time, but a lot of the time the Sith were just stories that they told to scare younglings into staying to the light side.
Yeah.
But the funny part is, the Sith were always spoken in a bad way. Uh, in the Empire era, the Jedi were considered like godlike. Like you hear these stories about these people that could use the Force and raise stuff up with just their hand, or wield this laser sword that cuts through pretty much anything. It's like something you just hear, like not just you hear it and you think, oh my god, this is godlike, or this is something that should be legend. And all of a sudden, some farm boy pops up wielding a blue lightsaber and wielding the Force. You're like, oh, this isn't a legend. This is true. Even Han Solo thought it was a bunch of hooky religion, even though his own friend Chewbacca knew and was friends with Yoda and fought the Jedi in the past.
Yeah.
Like people like Han Solo are like, yeah, it's just some hooky religion that doesn't mean anything. It's nothing real. And then he starts seeing the stuff that Luke can do, and he's like, oh, wait a second, this might actually be real.
Yes. Yep. If people aren't willing to.
Well, it's more of seeing than believing,
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Like anything, like nowadays, like I would rather I'll believe it when I see it. Like like it's kind of how it is, especially in a galaxy far, far away, when you have people that can alter people's memories or shoot lightning out of their fingers, or create bursts of bright light. You kind of have to like be open-minded or closed-minded about the matter. especially when you grow up thinking that the Jedi were just some sort of myth.
Indeed.
Yeah. I do find it funny how dedicated the Jedi were to just wiping the Sith memory.
Well, I mean, if you kind of think about it, they're trying to make it so that they aren't going to have to deal with the equivalent of. They're trying to stamp out something that they would consider evil, and that
This is
includes
why
any knowledge or history of it to help prevent people from trying to get into
discovering
the
it.
idea of it. You know.
Yeah, and it's funny too because there was an entire specialization of the Sentinel class that was specifically used to hunt down and destroy any dark side relics that were called Jedi Shadows. And they were picked from the Jedi High Council. They were specifically picked for their abnormally uh, strong resistance to the dark side. Like, and they were given permission to use abilities that otherwise some Jedi would be considered forbidden, such as Force Choke, even though that was widely used by Anakin, but we don't talk about that. Um,
Force
certain
lightning.
abilities, more like Electric Judgment.
Oh.
Those who knew it would be able to use it freely, but the one that really rediscovered it was Plo Koon. A lot of Jedi wouldn't know Electric Judgment due to the fact that it was rediscovered by Plo Koon before the Clone Wars even started. Um, but like Force Crush is another great example of something that's looked down upon for using, but Shadows were allowed to use it. Um, but yeah, it was, and Shadows have been around for a while, but they became really big, helpful when it came to, and sometimes Shadows would just fake their death so they could continue doing the work unheeded. So like those Shadows that probably are out there, most Sentinel class actually survived Order 66 because they were never usually at the temple. The only ones who fully died out, besides one of them, were the temple guards because they were betrayed by the Grand Inquisitor.
Mm.
But like most Sentinels, that was the class of Jedi that um, Sidious actually feared most because of how different they were from just Guardian or Consulars. Because Sentinels were famed for being able to just hide in plain sight. You know, they did stuff that most Jedi don't usually do, hide their lightsabers, for example. Jedi don't usually hide their lightsabers as it's a way of it's kind of like how cops have their weapons out, you know, in the open. There, it's meant to show that it's meant to show what trust and respect for the people around you. It's not trying to hide your weapons. But most Sentinels did. So a lot of people who knew somebody was that didn't know someone was a Sentinel, most likely was a Sentinel, and they just didn't widely spread out their beliefs on that. Yeah, most Sentinels just did not live at the temple. So most Jedi that did escape Order 66 and stayed alive were Sentinels. I find it funny that there was like a whole group of Jedi that Sidious feared.
Well, and he also feared several species of Jedi, of course, too.
There were some species that did have a high amount of uh, Force religion within their kind. One of them was Plo Koons, the Caldors. They actually, funnily enough, the Keldor homeworld was actually never taken over by the Empire, as it was a um God, what type of atmosphere did it have? I think it was a class 3 atmosphere. It was basically poisonous to most other species, and it's one of the main reasons why Plo Koon, such as Plo Koon, and or the Keldors and 2 other species who are closely related to each other, had to wear respirators and goggles to prevent their eyes and their lungs from getting destroyed. But yeah, like the Keldors had their own force religion, and it mainly revolved around lightning, which is probably why Plo Koon rediscovered electric judgment. Um, and then you have the Wookiees, who are just abnormally close to their environment. Togruta are another great one.
Yep.
Um, Gruta, even Wookiees and Togruta both worship trees in a way, where Togruta believe trees are their past ancestors standing firm and still for to watch over them as they hunt, while Wookiees use trees as and Ewoks use trees as living ways to keep off the ground because that's where most of the predators are. Specifically on Kashyyyk, where the Shadowlands are concerned. Only the bravest Wookiees go down to the Shadowlands.
Hmm.
And you have planets like Dathomir, which are naturally connected to the dark side, and have such a hostile environment that, I mean, you don't usually go there unless you really, really have to. Because there's stories about Dathomir that people don't use, that keep people away.
That's like the boogeyman, but it's the entire planet instead.
Oh yeah, yeah. The witches of Dathomir were definitely a good excuse to stay the fuck away from Dathomir, because they were very unfriendly to every outsider. Even Asajj Ventress, who was a Night Sister initially before she was taken by a pirate uh, as a slave when she was just a child. When she returned, the Night Sisters didn't know who she was, or at least the clan that she was originally part of. They didn't know who she was, so they almost attacked her. But luckily, Mother Towson told them she's one of us. Otherwise, they would have killed her.
Yeah.
Even though she looks like them, it doesn't. They know they don't recognize her. So, and the clans like to war a lot. So, for all they know, she's a part of a different clan. So, well, yeah, no, Dathomir is a great example. The Keldor homeworld is a great example. Of places that the Empire and Sidious would stay far away from.